Hello, today we'll be covering a variety of tutorials on how to use the Nikon D7500. The D series cameras, it's called a digital single lens reflex camera, or a DSLR. And a lot of the Nikon's cameras, Pentax, Sony's all look the same. So eventually you learn one camera, you can pretty much identify a lot of the controls on all different sorts of cameras. So this is a very helpful tutorial for those just getting into photography. The first thing you can see, the body is right here. I would probably say the most important thing on this camera is the strap. This is something that you always want to have on you at all times, whether it be around your neck, over your shoulder, or if you're shooting, wrapped in your hand so you can hold the camera. The one thing you definitely don't want to have is somebody bump you or the camera falls and you don't have the strap available to save it from falling down. So that is probably the key point whenever, as soon as someone hands you a camera, first thing you do is you put the strap on. Okay, so moving on, just to do a basic walkthrough of the camera, this is the lens right here. So this is what's called a zoom lens because it actually has what's called a different focal length. It zooms both in and out to a wide angle or to a zoom. This is something we'll be covering later on. So you can have a variety of different lenses. Actually, there is a button right here on the front. You push this button and you turn it away from you and you can see the camera lens comes off. So these have a variety. I believe Nikon at this point has almost close to 1 million different lenses that can go on this camera. But for the point of what we use in the program, this is a very nice size lens. It's very rare that you would ever have to switch the lens out on this camera. But if you do, this is how you do it. I would always ask an instructor first. If you've never put a lens on, we'd be happy to walk you through it. And as you can see, there's a white dot here and a white dot here. You essentially match the two dots and turn it towards you to put it back on. You'll also see on the lens there is a focus. A is for automatic, M is for manual. The only times you'd really use manual focus is if you were taking pictures of, say, a group and there were 6 people, but you only wanted to focus on the one particular person. You would use manual focus, and this is the manual focus ring. It's the shorter ring of the 2 rings. So this helps you achieve manual focus on your own. Now, most of the time, you would leave it on auto, but another reason you would use manual focus is for what they call macro or extreme close-up photography, where you sit there and use the focus on your own. Most of the time, though, we'll be in automatic focus, which this ring you will no longer need. It'll move on its own. And then right here, it zooms, and you can see what's called the different focal lengths on the lens. It goes from 18 to 140. And as you can see, as the lens moves, it's getting closer and closer, bringing that subject in tighter to the lens. So then you can zoom out and get a wide shot of, say, a nice landscape. And if there was a bird in the landscape on a tree branch, you could zoom in and catch the bird right there and zoom as far out as you can. So that's a very nice feature with this lens. It's what they call a utility lens, and it works for a variety of different reasons. So that is the basic how to walk around on the camera itself, as well as attaching a lens. Up next is we're going to look at the features on the Nikon camera. We're going to do just a general look around. So as you can see, this is the front of the camera. You have different controls like we saw before. This is how to take the lens on and off. And also for older Nikon lenses, some of the older Nikon lenses don't have built-in automatic focus. So what you have to do is use the control on the camera body to set to either manual or automatic focus. As a default in our program, we will leave this on automatic focus at all times, even if you were to switch to manual over here. This is actually for a flash for your camera. You push this button and then the flash will pop up on the camera. This gives you the ability, it has a small built-in flash. So what we'll do is we'll show you, we'll put the battery in and give you an example on how that works. So what you want to do is you want to pop to the bottom of the camera right here, and you'll notice there's a few different things on here. This is a thread for a tripod. This is something we'll be covering in our next video on how to attach your camera to a tripod. Now this is the Nikon battery that you use for the camera. You'll see it sitting over on the charger, and it actually says Nikon on it. So in order to put the battery in the camera, you want to see this door. There's a little tab and a little arrow that goes this way. So we're going to pop that open. And then you'll see it actually has a small graphic on how to get that battery in there. So you want to match up the picture, and then the battery goes in just like that. And then you close the door and you're ready to go. So let's take a look now. If I were to turn the camera on, you'll see the display lights up, and you can see you have your battery power and some of your camera features. Now let's go back to the button on the front, which is the flash button. If I were to hit that button now, you'll see the flash comes up. So this is a nice little built-in flash. This is really if in the event you don't have a flash with you, and this is nice. It covers a small distance, maybe about 10 or 15 feet, but it's good when you're in a pinch and you need to take a quick picture. Now this is what's called a hot shoe. The hot shoe gives you the ability to add larger flashes to the camera to be able to cover larger distances. So we have some flashes that we have in the program that I will show you in the next tutorial on how to put one on.